Oh boy, what on earth is going on at Twitter HQ? It's been an interesting time to be an observer of what is happening at Twitter right now. I'll put it briefly for you. Twitter is having issues with people scraping their tweets. Scraping tweets means basically emulating user behavior to download them. I made a video about how to do this a while back. Whoops. People scrape because it gets around API limits of Twitter, which are now prohibitively expensive. So, to stop people scraping their tweets and emulating user behavior, Twitter put limits on their accounts. If you have a normal account, you can view 600 tweets a day. If you have a verified account, you can view 6,000. If you have a new unverified account, you can only view 300. That was the original limits, and they've now been upped slightly. 10,000 if you're verified, 1,000 if you're unverified, and 500 if you're new. These sound like a lot, but they're really not, okay? Think every tweet you view, and all its comments, and all their comments, that you click on and scroll, each count as a tweet, right? That's like 20 minutes of Twitter. Doom scrollers unite. We are free, because you can only use Twitter for 20 minutes before you even reach 1,000 tweets. 10,000, you can use it for 10 times as long, 200 minutes, which is like 6, 12, 8, and 24, just under 4 hours. It's 3 hours and 20 minutes, probably. So that is like the average time that people probably spend on Twitter every day, about 3.5 hours. So pay for it, okay? Don't. Hilarity ensued because of this change, and I'm going to talk about that later. But first, why are they doing this? In my last couple of videos, we've been talking about AI and specifically AI models. Twitter data is used to train these models. Originally, these tweets were gathered by the API, then the API was made expensive, people resorted to web scraping. To stop this, they implemented limits. And they're also suing people who trained on Twitter data, like Microsoft. They're being sued by Elon. But ladies and gentlemen, it's amateur hour over at Twitter. Twitter's been down a bit after these changes. The homepage just doesn't load sometimes, and sometimes it just doesn't work. It's pretty strange. Why is that happening? They are DDoSing themselves. A DDoS, for you non-technical folks, is a distributed denial of service attack. I'm not going to go into detail, but basically, it's when a bunch of people spam a website with so many requests that the website can't handle it and goes and dies, okay? Because it's being hit and it can't respond to... It can't tell the difference between legitimate requests and spam requests, so it tries to respond to all the requests, most of which are spam, and then dies, okay? That happens. That has happened to Twitter. But the thing is, Twitter's doing it to itself. How are they doing that? This is what happens, okay? It's a poorly implemented engineering thing. You go to Twitter. You can't load new tweets because you've reached your limit. Twitter still tries to load those tweets because the limit was poorly implemented. Twitter still tries to load those tweets because the limit was poorly implemented. Twitter still tries to load those tweets because it was poorly implemented. It does that 10 times a second. It's like, hi Twitter, I want my tweets. You can't have those tweets.
Hi Twitter, I want my tweets. You can't have those tweets.
Back and forth, 10 times a second, every user, right? Blitzing the Twitter servers, like machine gunning requests at them. This is why Twitter is down, or was down, or maybe still is. I don't know anymore. Yeah, that video there is the request happening, and that funky little loading thing is what it looks like to a user who is DDoSing Twitter accidentally through Twitter's own fault. So why would this happen? What probably happened, hypothetical theorization right here, is the engineers of Twitter never envisioned this would happen, the rate limiting. Therefore, when Elon said, I want rate limiting, it doesn't sound like that, it was implemented poorly and quickly. It was probably like, if user.tweets.viewed greater than 600, rate.limit user, right? That's probably all they did. They were like, oh, it'll be easy. It'll be easy. Because everyone thinks it'll be easy. But no, it wasn't, because they forgot something. The Twitter front end will constantly try and fetch those tweets. And because of the new rate limiting behavior, it will the Twitter front end constantly tries to fetch new tweets if it doesn't have them. But the rate limiting says you can't have those tweets, but the front end says, I want them, and I try 10 times a second for them. And it doesn't get them, and it keeps trying. Ergo, a DDoS. Now, this is known as a race condition. I'm not smart enough to explain that. Look it up yourself if you really care about semantics. I'm not clever enough. In the grand old US of A, it's also a holiday weekend, right? This makes it worse because, as we engineers know, we never make changes to production on a Friday. And this happened at Twitter on a Friday, on a holiday weekend. Oh dear. All those engineers getting called in to fix this problem are hopefully being paid a lot of overtime. I really hope they are. I feel for them. It's happened to me before. It's happened to all of us who have worked in production environments. Someone makes a change on a Friday and you spend your whole weekend fixing it. So what's next? It looks like this could be a permanent change. Elon seems pretty set on it. And, Twitter is bad for your attention span, so you should probably touch grass once in a while. But you don't need a billionaire to tell you that, do you? Really? Also, Zuck and Musk are going to fight, probably, maybe. Zuck is also planning on probably, maybe, releasing a Twitter clone, right? The Battle of the Billionaires, B.O.B., Battle of the Bastards, Game of Thrones. Let's hope this is more of an interesting ending. Good night.